This is Fox 21 Local News right now at 7 a.m.
Good morning. Welcome to Fox 21 Local News. Right now it is Thursday, July 23rd. I'm Abbie Burke.
And I'm Craig Coffey. Good morning. Good morning to you. The only live and local show now for the next 2 hours. Thanks for being here today. Let's get right to weather and bring in Chief Meteorologist Meister. Good morning.
Good morning, Craig. Good morning, Abbie. Good morning, everyone. On Friday Junior, I like to say that to get you ready for the weekend mentally. Helps you come around here at the end of what may be a bit of a rough week. We check out the forecast first this morning, brought to you by Integrity Roofing and Painting, and pretty good coverage of clouds across the region as we get our Thursday underway. See that look toward Pikes Peak from the AWL Roofing and Contracting camera downtown. It is 64 right now. Dew point not as high yesterday as it was yesterday in Colorado Springs or Pueblo, where they are both in the mid-40s. Temperature 68 on the Southwest Motors camera looking down Union Avenue past the library. I think we'll do 80s and 90s today. Yesterday, all of the storms stayed over the hills. Today, a couple may drift over Colorado Springs or Pueblo. I don't think those ones will produce much in the way of rain. That may not be the case over the southeastern corner of the state. We'll talk about that and get you set for some pretty noticeable changes by the end of the weekend. It's all coming up in your forecast.
Matt, thank you so much. 7:03 right now in our top story. A 12-year-old girl is dead after being shot in Fountain last night. And right now, investigators are still trying to put together the pieces of what led up to the shooting.
Yeah, this happened in Fountain, in the neighborhood off Fountain Mesa and CNS Roads, when police said that a call came in at 5:45 last night that a girl was shot in the cheek. And at the time, an off-duty El Paso County Sheriff's deputy was on scene and started life-saving measures. However, the girl passed away. Investigators
are trying to figure out what happened, who pulled the trigger, and if the parents were home at the time. Lisa Schneider with Fountain Police says these types of calls are especially tough on officers.
Officers are very good at putting up that wall to deal with situations like this. That doesn't mean it's easy for them. It's very difficult when they respond to situations that involve children, especially when the children don't survive any of those injuries.
Well, at this point, no arrests have been made, and the family is working in cooperation with police.
New this morning, officers are investigating what was called in as a home invasion with shots fired on Box Elder Street in Pueblo.
Yeah, two men said that three other men entered their home and assaulted them before one of the homeowners got a handgun and opened fire, which hit at least one of the attackers, and one man was then dropped off at a hospital by a car, which was then driven away. And right now, Crimes Against Persons and CSI investigators are working this ongoing investigation.
Now, the latest as the El Paso County coroner has ruled the death of a 49-year-old man who was tased and restrained by Colorado Springs police inside his home. They've ruled that as a homicide.
Yeah, this is something quite the video, too. This happened May 24th at a gated community on Ash Grove Street in the Stratton Meadows neighborhood when officers went to the home of Chad Burnett for a disturbance call, and police then tried to arrest Burnett, but said he resisted.
Officers chased him into his house, then tased and handcuffed him. They said a medical crew was requested, but they didn't arrive until 15 minutes later, and Burnett had already died. The coroner says because Burnett's death occurred during a physical altercation, including the use of taser, the manner of death is homicide.
All right, 7:05 right now on this Thursday, and in Colorado Springs, the police say that an internal affairs investigation is underway now after an officer allegedly made offensive comments on a local TV station's live stream.
The comments were reportedly made during live stream coverage of I-25 protests that happened on June 30th. Yesterday, protesters took to the city's administration building to demand answers from Mayor John Suthers on the investigation. One protester we spoke with says the comments included the phrase, quote, "kill them all."
As an officer, your job is to serve and protect the community. I don't know how you're supposed to serve and protect when you're threatening to kill your community at the same time. It's a complete and utter just lack of morality to do that, and we don't feel safe having people on the police department who feel that way about individuals exercising their First Amendment rights.
Well, CSPD released a statement to Fox 21, which reads in part, "The comments were unprofessional, inappropriate, and not reflective of our department's values." And once the statements were brought to their attention, they immediately began the investigation to figure out if it was in fact one of their officers who made the comments.
CSPD continued to write, quote, "We are committed to ensuring a thorough investigation is completed. Sometimes this takes time, but we owe it to our community to make sure these investigations are done correctly."
Now, since the protest on June 30th, 13 arrests have been made after Black Lives Matter protesters blocked northbound lanes of I-25 just north of Bijou for almost an hour.
7:06 right now. Police are notifying the public about a sexually violent predator, 30-year-old Christopher James McGough, who was listed as homeless in Colorado Springs.
He's currently on parole now and stays in the area of the Springs Rescue Mission on West Las Vegas Street, just south of downtown. Court records show that he was convicted of several crimes, which include attempted sexual assault on a child, aggravated motor vehicle theft, assault, failure to register as a sex offender, and felony menacing. Now, McGough is one of 20 sexually violent predators currently in the Springs area.
Also, CSPD is asking for your help in finding a missing 13-year-old.
Yeah, Josiah Tenbrink was last seen Monday near Bott Park in Old Colorado City. He was wearing a blue shirt, black shorts, black shoes, and may have a red hoodie. Also, Josiah is 5'1", about 127 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. Now, due to his age, police are concerned about his welfare, so if you have any information, you are urged to contact police.
Happening now, teachers are calling on the El Paso County Health Department to do more when it comes to opening back up schools.
Yeah, several teachers told the health department's board that they don't feel safe going back as it stands right now, and one of the reasons is the number of students. They believe if schools return to full classes, it's impossible to social distance in classrooms. Many also called the district to offer testing and personal protective equipment to teachers, if not students as well.
You are essentially sending students and educators back to the same overcrowded, underfunded public education institutions.
Thank you for the recommendations. Now make them requirements, or else we're going to see massive walkouts and strikes, or we're going to see massive outbreaks in our community. We don't want that. We want to be with our kids. We want to come back.
Teachers also want the county to create a student per square foot ratio for districts to adhere to.
And Falcon School District 49 announced last night a delayed start for the first day of school until August 17th.
The district says the decision is based on increasing COVID-19 cases in the Pikes Peak region and the recommendation from El Paso County Public Health that K-12 in-person learning not begin until August 17th.
Now, this date will allow 4 full weeks to evaluate the impact of mandatory masks, other mitigation efforts, and the district says that it will continue to watch the situation and collaborate with public health.
In Pueblo, Pueblo County is at risk of losing its variants, according to the county health department. Officials say cases have gone up this week, and a state requirement might have the county locking back down if a mitigation plan does not slow the spread of the virus.
If the county has more than 84 new cases of COVID-19 in a 2-week period, county leaders must prepare that mitigation plan. Currently, 15 other counties in the state, which does include El Paso County, are at risk of losing their variances. So if cases do return, don't turn around, the county could be forced to go back to the state's safer at home phase.
In military news, a local military family is bringing a wellness center to Colorado Springs.
Yeah, they're starting a nonprofit which will provide mental health and wellness services for service members. Plus, this includes firefighters, police, and EMS, along with military personnel and veterans. And Fox 21's Amber Jo Cooper spoke with the couple about why this hit so close to home. Amber Jo?
This is Elaine and Heath Brewer. Heath is a 20-year Navy Special Operations veteran who attended an outpatient program at the Walter Reed Medical Center, where they help those who have experienced post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injuries. Heath says after weeks of treatment, he started to have emotions that he hadn't felt in many years. And he says he's learned of invisible wounds he didn't even know he had. After Elaine visited the health center, she was inspired to create a wellness center here locally after witnessing the encouraging and healing atmosphere that changed her husband's life. They hope to offer these services free of charge, such as massage therapy, yoga, acupuncture, meditation, and seminars on all aspects of health and wellness. One of their goals is to get rid of the stigma with post-traumatic stress and say they don't call it a disorder because experiencing traumatic events affects the brain in an unnatural way.
You know, you see your child do something that is amazing and you're like, oh, everybody's cheering and clapping. I'm cheering and clapping, but I'm not really feeling anything. Like I feel like I should be feeling something. So that's where I think guys, you know, especially veterans and first responders, when they go home, the brain doesn't just switch over to that side automatically. You know, it's a balance. You know, so it's as much as we train in one side of the brain, we have to train our brains to stay in the other side as well.
The Brewers tell me they will be accepting volunteers for yoga teachers, massage therapists, and volunteer staff once they get up and running, and will be providing updates on their Facebook page. To donate to the Humble Warrior Wellness Center, we have a link to their page on our website, fox21news.com. Guys.
Amber Jo, thank you so much. 7-Eleven right now. Jeopardy may have a new golden host.
What?
I know.
What about Trebek? Yes, later on this hour, who Alex Trebek is choosing as his successor. But first, here's Matt.
Hey, 7:13 here on this. No.
Nope, it's a Thursday.
That would have been bad. It's Friday, Junior, baby. The weekend is coming. I obviously need it. And some changes on the way by the end of that weekend. That might be some good news. We'll break that down for you when we return. Here's your pollen report from Asthma and Allergy Associates in Colorado Springs. Grasses, weeds, they're moderate out there, including that ragweed. I know that gets quite a few folks. Stick around. Weather's next.